Hello again.
Hello. All right, so the reason why we're here, we featured a couple cars here. I've featured Jun's car before. So Jun is a good buddy of mine. I know you guys love to make fun of me because I have so many good buddies all over the world. But when you have shot for 15 years and you've traveled the world, you know, you just meet people along the way and you click with people and we make lifelong friends, and that's kind of one of my favorite parts of this job. And I met Jun actually way back when you actually worked at Mattel / Hot Wheels, but now you're at RoboRace doing all the crazy robot things, AI, all of that crazy stuff. I'm so glad there's people like you in this industry, in this autonomous industry, because you're a true car enthusiast and you're not gonna stray too far away from the enthusiast, because you still want the enthusiast to love your product, love RoboRace, but also love stuff like that. Your beautiful Hakosuka parked outside. I mean, yeah, it might as well be you, right, versus anyone else.
Well, I like to, say that a lot of these kind of projects bring people together, bring cultures together, and really, it's all just one love, right? So whether it's an autonomous race car that has no human driver, or a classic JDM machine from the 70s, I love them both and everything in between. So,
let's take a look at this thing, because just looking at this scene right now, it looks like we're in Tokyo. It's like an urban jungle with some nice greenery, a little bit around here. I mean, I don't even know where to start. This thing is so clean, and I'm sure it didn't start life this way in your hands.
no, and it's funny how this car ended up in my hands, much like my other projects. They just kind of come my way. And I was actually flipping through, scrolling through Instagram one day, and this popped up on the feed, and it was actually one of my buddies, Eric, who posted it, who was over at Top Rank, just visiting, probably checking out R32s or something. And I was like, whoa, 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 like, what's this? Like, uncut silver Hako, like, hello, like, where is this, right? And so I sent him a text. I'm like, dude, like, where's this car? And he goes, oh, it's at Top Rank in OC. And I was like, what? Like, no. So I called over there, and it was Sean, who picked up, and I got to talk to him. He's like, yeah, like, we actually have the car here. Like, it just arrived from Japan. Come check it out. And I went over there, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, right? It's like, I've been looking for an uncut two-door Hako for probably about 10 years. And it's interesting because I actually have the magazine in there that I bought 10 years ago with a silver uncut Hako GTX. And I told my wife, like, I'm gonna buy this car one day. I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna buy this car one day. And there it was. And I guess it was just meant to be. So, after a couple hours of checking it out and seeing all the little things that it needed, I made the deal, and I was the owner of a Hako.
Well, when you say uncut, it's funny because uncut can definitely mean a lot of things, but in the car world, usually when you see one of these cars, the fenders are cut and they have overfenders on them.
Yeah.
And because they like to make it a GTR look, right? But seeing something like this is just as rare as seeing Evo 9 or 10 that's not on E85 and, big turbo, or R32 GTR with two big mushroom intakes. Like, you would expect that, you would think that R32 GTRs come with those intakes.
Right.
So I actually bought my R32 from Top Rank also. My buddy Sean Morris there hooked me up. The point is, I wanted something that was like a time capsule. Yeah. I wanted something that, growing up playing Gran Turismo, playing simulators, that's how we found out about a lot of these cars, and I aspired to hopefully one day own a stock version of it, because of the fact that it's more rare than something that's modified, because those cars, it's so easy. You breathe on them and then you make power.
Yeah.
And same thing with this, you breathe on it and then it turns into a GTR look.
Yeah.
So, and tell me about some of the things that you've done so far too.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it didn't come this way, and granted, like, it still needs a lot more work, but I bought the car completely unrestored. Like, it literally, they just drove it in, and they haven't even gone through the car yet. So I picked it up. The first thing I did, like, I gotta have a clean interior, so I just went through the whole interior, scrubbed it, treated it, restored all the plastic pieces. Luckily, everything on the car works. Even the AC works for me, which was like a huge selling point, because for me, like, AC is a must, and AC in a classic car is like, that's like a dream, right? So you can just enjoy it in a hot summer day.
What year is this?
This is a 72. So 72 Skyline GTX. So it's, I guess it's, yeah, it's kind of like the middle of the road, right? So you got GT, GTX, and GTR. So it has power windows, it has the twin SUs, L20A engine, and yeah, I mean, this is the car that shows up in that magazine, and it's the one I wanted, and it's a trip.
Wait, so how cold does the AC actually blow in a 72?
It blows full on cold. It's amazing. Yeah, it won't freeze you out of the cab, but it's cold.
Talk about way ahead of its time. I mean, this is like the Japanese businessman car.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah, this is it. This is like the luxury model, right? It's got power windows, and you know, it's got a few kind of classed up touches on it compared to the GT. So, yeah, this is it. This is the one you rolled up to the office with, right?
So what else did you do to the outside of this car?
The paint was in pretty bad shape. It really just felt like sandpaper. So I actually took the roof and the hood down, you know, wet sanded it, buffed it out as best I could. And you can see, I mean, it's still, you can see all the marks and stuff, but it's at least smooth. I can actually wax the car now. I got these OG hubcaps, so they didn't come with the car, but a buddy of mine, my buddy Kazu in Japan, he came through with these hubcaps. So the ones in the front are mint, the ones in the back are new old stock. I actually cut the tape on the boxes.
Wait, it's this whole piece then?
Yeah, it's that whole piece.
So underneath this are steelies?
Yeah, these are black steelies, and these are just wheels I got locally. And then Yokohama, of course, they sent me some tires. They actually sent me a couple different tires for this car. So this one has, right now it's got a Touring setup. So it's like a 185/70, kind of like an OEM fit. And I actually have a set of 14-inch SSRs with the Advan AO52s that honestly right now they're a little too sporty for the rest of the car. Once I get the suspension dialed in, maybe I could run those once in a while, but right now I'm really digging this kind of OEM plus look.
I love it. And the thing is, you also did lower it then too.
Yeah, so this is actually running on Protect springs, which I picked up in Yokohama on my last trip to Japan over the holiday. And so these are, I think, 60 mil drop springs from Protec.
It looks great because you basically barely see the top of the wheel at this point. And it's nice because this car, it just needs more rubber.
Right.
Like a fat sidewall to fill out that wheel well.
Yeah.
It just looks, it actually looks right. I do have to say, I've seen GTXs and GTR copies with bigger wheels, and it just a little rough to me. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for everyone's taste and styles, but for me, like, I really wanted to capture that look as if this car was just going down the street in Japan back in the day. Like, what would it look like with a little touch, little hint of my style here and there.
So I love this. It's like surviving from 1972.
Yeah, it's like barely hanging on, right? But like, those are the things that I really like. It's like, I could scrape that off and put a repro on there, but it's like, that's original to the car, so.
I can't believe it. 1972 sticker that says air conditioned.
Yeah, and it works.
Oh, so cool. All right, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's California legal.
It is, and that's, I think that's one of the greatest points about buying from Top Rank, and they really came through and made that a completely simple and painless process for myself, the buyer and end user. And that was really important going into ownership. Was I wanted this to be California legal. I never wanted to deal with it. I didn't want to stress about it having, out-of-state plates and things like that. It's like, hey, there's people do that. That's their thing. For me, I thought it added a lot more value to the car by having it California registered and legal, and that was really important for me.
I like that. And then, so are you eventually going to do a customized plate?
I think so. Yeah, doesn't really mean anything, but
it's just so weird to see one with a California plate.
Yeah.
And I bet you it's so few in total Hakkoskas that are actually California legal. I couldn't imagine. I mean, it's got to be less than 10.
Yeah, I mean, of course, back in the day, it was a little easier to get them in, but now it's like, it's definitely a little trickier, but that's why I had Top Rank just do the whole process, and they made it super easy.
Let's check out the engine bay.
Yeah. So the engine bay, so everything in here is stock, and it's obviously in need of some cosmetic help, but that'll come over time. With this, it's like, it's the way I build my other cars. It's like, I just kind of take my time. I replace the bolts here and there, clean apart, and just enjoy it as I go. Eventually, I'll pull the motor and I'll have the whole bay resprayed and all that stuff. But right now, it runs good, and I just enjoy driving it. I did replace, hardware, things like that, wherever I could. You can see the kind of the shiny bits, right? Like, I like clean hardware. I can deal with a little bit of, paint mess and stuff, but I like to have new hardware. So whenever I go to Japan, I actually go to the hardware stores and just clean out all their 10, 12, and 14 millimeter bolts and nuts. And they have the right plating and right look, so that's what I do.
It is kind of amazing to me that this is this old. I mean, it's coming on 50 years old, this car, and it's running strong. And like, look at the patina on this. Look at this. You can't recreate this. This is so cool. 130 PS at 6,000 RPM, 2-liter L20. So this is a L20 inline 6.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it could do with a little more power, but honestly, doesn't really need it.
Yeah, it's a cruiser.
Yeah, it's a total cruiser.
So one thing I noticed about this is that this is a windshield wiper bag.
Yeah.
I guess they just didn't have enough room to put a whole canister here.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's one of the great things about this car is that actually everything works. The wiper squirters work, the wiper works. I mean, that was one of the great things. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, a bag from the 70s. It still holds liquid and still works, and it's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, electric fuel pump. I'm wondering if that was upgraded from the mechanical.
I'm sure there is, because there's usually a mechanical pump that goes right here. Yeah. My Z has it, still works. But this is nice. It actually makes me want to get that for the Z2.
I love this too. I always wondered why the air cleaner is orange, but it's this one's actually in really good condition, minus just the rubber a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks great. Still twin SUs.
Yep. Yeah, they work good and starts up every time, which is important.
It's funny because everyone in the US, they like to put JDM mirrors on their cars, but like this is how it came from the factory.
Yeah, I mean that's just how it is. I didn't have to drill any holes in the fender to put these on, right?
Yeah.
They're already there.
Cool, let's take a look at the interior.
Yeah.
Okay, it smells like a 70s car.
Yeah, it's a little bit of, it's a little stale, but it definitely brings back memories, right?
The vinyl is really good condition.
Yeah, yeah. Everything in here is original for the most part, and when I got the car, like it was pretty dirty and like they didn't go through it yet, so I went and just restored all the black plastic. Shampooed the whole thing out. I pulled the whole interior out and just cleaned each piece one by one and checked all the wiring. Everything works great. The only thing I did replace, I still have the stock wheel, but I like a little bit smaller wheel. So I have this this Momo steering wheel. Is actually a gift from Enrique from Momo. So he gave that to me a while ago. It's a really special one. And I put some aftermarket pedals just because, especially with the gas pedal, like it's the one where it has a hinge on the floor and it kind of goes that way. And I don't like that, so I put a different pedal set on there.
So is that the magazine that you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is actually, so I bought this over 10 years ago in Kyoto Station, and I was flipping through it. And this is actually the page. And it was funny because I showed that to my wife back then on that trip, and I was like, hey, I want to get this car someday. And she's like, okay.
She didn't think of anything.
Make it happen, you know, like, however you can.
It's literally the same.
And this is it. And it's funny because I was showing her
the trim, the shifter.
I mean, it's like
everything.
This you know, these two pages have been really helpful when I, you know, got this car and I was kind of looking through it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's there and that's there and that's what it's supposed to be. And I was like, all right.
I love that they have a Japanese, like, here's a normal sized Japanese man sitting in the back.
Yeah.
This is what he should look like.
Yeah.
And oh, here's a normal sized Japanese man getting out of it. Yeah. This is what he should look like.
Yeah. I've actually never sat back there. My kids go back there to sit once in a while, but
I love all of these so much. Like, look, here's how to open the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. That's my favorite part of Japan in general, is the over instructioned everything.
Right.
Like there's instructions on how to use the elevator in every elevator. Yeah. You know, there's instructions on how to open your chopstick package.
Yeah, there's like no room for any questions. It's like, oh, okay, they covered everything. Yeah.
That's the fun thing about going to Japan, all the little things. This is kind of interesting. So the window switches are in the middle, huh?
Yeah. So these are the power window switches, and
that's washer. This is wiper.
Yeah, washer, wiper. I'm gonna say that's for like a fog light, like a optional fog light, because I don't think that does anything. I've actually never tried. And that's a rear defroster.
Oh.
And these switches are amazing. I mean, it's like it's all metal and
this wood trim or vinyl or whatever it is. It kind of like lasted the test of time over here.
Yeah.
It looks great. So does this stuff work here?
I don't have an 8-track to test that, but I'll have to find one, see if that works.
Huh. So you don't listen to the radio or anything in here?
I do. So actually the radio's up here, so this works.
Oh, this actually works?
That actually works. Yeah.
Still?
So that picks up AM stations out here, yeah.
Oh, it's only AM?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh, that's pretty cool. And here's the AC. So I'm guessing it was such a weird option, or most people wouldn't get it. It's like almost like an add-on.
Yeah. And if you look at the ones without the AC, it's usually just empty there or blocked off somehow, so.
One of the things that I always found weird about this car is that the gauges are offset from the steering wheel position.
Yeah.
So it's like offset a little bit to the left.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never, I guess I don't look at the gauges too much when I'm driving, but.
All the little Japanese stickers, all the little things you left in. This is kind of, I noticed, pretty much in every single old Japanese Nissan. Maybe it's the same way with Toyotas. It's like this blue underneath.
Right.
It just fades to that.
Yeah.
But other than that, the vinyl itself is in really good condition.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like when I look at a car, I've got to look at the interior, and if it's in reasonably good condition, I feel a lot more better about it. Just means the previous owner took good care of it. And this one, aside from the age, which with age comes some wear and tear, but aside from that, it's super clean and really well kept.
So what is it like when you take it around town? Do people know what it is?
Very rarely people know what it is, but I definitely get a lot of looks and a lot of like, what kind of car is that? And especially being out here, it's like I'm driving on the right and people are like, what? Why are you on the wrong side of the car? It does spark a lot of a lot of interest, a lot of friendly conversations with people, and it's a lot of fun. I can't go to the gas station and get gas without like spending an extra 5 or 10 minutes with someone, because they just come over, they're like, what the heck is this thing, and why is the steering wheel there, and like, I've never seen this before. And it's like, depending on how much they want to get into it, it's like you just give them, just let them know. It's like, oh.
When I pull up to a gas station in my R32, people think I'm driving a Nissan Sentra from the 90s. Okay. I'm saying like non-car people.
Yeah.
Car people will know, okay, it's an R32 GTR.
Sure.
All right, cool guy. That's why I put my license plate is wow cool.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, when people see it, it's like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool, you know?
I gotta go wow cooler.
It's way cooler.
If I can spell that out.
Let's go for a ride.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Can I drive it?
You may, absolutely.
I've driven a couple of these, but I've never driven a stock one. So I'm excited to see this. It starts up right away.
It does. It's got a choke on the carb and it's got that fuel pump, so it gets going pretty quickly. I did change the exhaust on this just because the stock one was a little underwhelming. So I actually installed this last weekend. It's a Fujitsu exhaust system. And it's nice, it's perfect. It's like, it's not loud, but it just, you know, gives it a little more life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's my plan for this car, is to just, I like to keep it stock looking, but little things here and there that just make it special. You know, do some nice suspension work and maybe a couple little things to the engine, but aside from that, I don't want to do too much to it.
Yeah, this is a time capsule, and I think you should keep it the way it is. I mean, or just improve on it, you know, so.
Definitely.
Well, so you didn't grow up in Japan.
No, I lived there for about 2 years when I was a really little kid. But for the most part, I grew up in the U.S.
You've never actually had a
I
ride?
never did, and you know, I drove them every once in a while in Japan very recently, but I actually never really drove one regularly, let alone out here in the U.S., which just adds to the confusion. Actually, the first time I drove a Hako was in Vegas with Roy.
So
So I drove Roy's Hako.
Okay.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Like sensory overload, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that thing is loud.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is like, that's a bruiser, man. It's like, it's so much fun, but I was just like, whoa, this is crazy.
It runs good.
Yeah, it runs good.
It is like almost like a new 50-year-old car.
Yeah.
And this, you don't have to worry about scraping it.
No. I mean, the exhaust does hang a little low, but it's got plenty of clearance. So.
Am I good here?
You're good. Yeah.
See, this is the part that's scary about right-hand drive.
Yeah.
You know, you can't,
Yeah.
there's that,
Yeah.
and also when you're making a left turn.
Yeah. When it warms up, it doesn't do that hesitation.
This feels like a way, way, way heavier car.
Yeah.
Compared to your Z.
Oh yeah, the Z is just like, it's super responsive.
Right.
It's instant.
And it's soft and comfortable.
Yeah. This is like, you know, when if I, you know, drove down to, you know, have to go drive 40 miles, 50 miles, like I could drive this car.
This is the cruiser.
Yeah.
And you know, it still has pretty good power, surprisingly.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's still, the choke is on, so it's running a little rich. But once it, you know, you turn that off and get the engine nice and warm, it actually goes pretty good. It's got a little hesitation when it's cold, but just give it a little more gas. Right, turn that off.
So, do you know the actual kilometers on this? That can't be right.
I don't.
It's only 5 digits.
Yeah, I mean, it could be because the original owner, this is a one-owner car, he didn't drive it much.
Right.
You know, he just kind of kept it for a long time.
That's probably why it's so good.
Yeah, like it's really, it's not beat up at all. I mean, again, it's old, so it's got a little bit of wear. Yeah, you gotta goose it a little bit, then get going. There you go. That improves when you run it a little bit more.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I make it right here?
Yeah, you can make it right.
This thing is incredible.
Yeah.
It really is a time capsule. It's such a pleasure to drive.
It is. And it's like, I just look forward to like longer drives with it.
Yeah. I'm still getting used to that.
Yeah, that takes a while. That takes a couple minutes of running to get through, then it just sings. It's an old car, you gotta give it a little time.
Of course.
It's usually the people around you who don't want to give it time. They're like, oh, you know, they're in their Tesla or whatever. It's like instant go, right? But this, it's like, give it a time. Yeah, see, there you go. Like it hums.
Yeah.
It goes.
No, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. That's why with this car, I really wanted it to be relaxing, just fun to drive. There you go. It cruises, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's a great cruiser.
It's enough, more than enough to have fun and put a smile on your face.
Oh, it definitely puts a smile on my face.
Get a day of motoring in, and
Yeah, you guys can't see the smile, but it's a big smile.
All smiles
wow.
here.
So cool. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the best way to get back?
You could just make a right
Make a
at
right.
any point. Yeah.
Unbelievable. This is a time machine.
Totally is.
This is a straight up time machine. 50 years ago, some Japanese businessman was driving this
Yeah.
to and from work.
Yeah.
Just really unbelievable.
Yeah. You think about like the interesting path it took to now my ownership, and it's just running the streets of LA.
Yeah.
You know, without being overly modified, just
No,
enjoyed the way it's meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I think there's a magic. There's something really special to that. And you know, you can make it right here. If I could convey to the original owner that, like, hey, I'm giving it the,
I'm
giving it
taking care
love
of it.
and
Yeah.
taking care of it and driving
Yeah.
and enjoying it, I think he'd be pretty happy.
I think so. So it doesn't have power steering then?
No power steering.
Okay. But it's actually light enough where I didn't really notice it that much.
Yeah. And it's, it's on touring tires, so they're not too aggressive. They're
Right.
OEM sizing, so
And it doesn't like follow the lines on the road
Right.
or anything.
Right. Again, it's like for me, I just want to build a relaxing cruiser. Something I can take my family out in and
Yeah.
just go for a nice ride.
It's like the quintessential Japanese family commercial. Like,
Totally.
let's all go for a picnic.
I know, it's like-
Picnic-oo, you know?
Tomorrow, picnic-oo, yeah. Get my wife and kids and we'll go out for a cruise. That'll be fun.
So cool. Yeah, there's just that little bit.
Yeah, it's like that
I
little...
have to you have to baby it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
After a while, though, it's all good.
Yours good?
Yeah. It's fine.
Just like that. Unbelievable.
That's fun.
This thing is too much fun. It just kind of gives me a different feeling from driving like a super fast car. It's just nostalgic and everything about it. I can't believe all the gauges, everything works perfect.
Yeah, everything works in this car.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for letting us drive your cars, shoot them, and enjoy them. Hopefully this inspires someone else to maybe restore one of these,
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many of these are left. So.
Yeah, there's probably not a whole lot that are unmodified stock body, but Save the Surf line is something that you hear among the Skyline community, and I agree with that too.
Cool. I think that's a wrap.
There you go.